Welcome. Have you ever looked at some of the world's best manufacturers and just wondered, how do they do it? How do they crank out all these different products with amazing speed and, top-notch quality? Well, a lot of the time, the secret sauce is this really powerful but surprisingly simple idea. And today, we're going to break down one of the absolute cornerstones of lean manufacturing, the production cell. All right, let's kick things off with a foundational idea from the master himself, Taichi Ono. This one sentence, man, it just perfectly captures the whole challenge that led to production cells in the first place. For decades, the old model was king. Just make millions of the exact same thing. But what happens when your customers start wanting variety? How do you stay efficient when you can't just run one massive production line? Well, the answer, as Ono figured out, wasn't about working harder. It was about totally rethinking the layout of the factory floor. So to really appreciate just how brilliant a production cell is, we first have to talk about the problem it solves. And trust me, it's a problem that is still alive and well in so many places today, a lot of times hiding in plain sight. This is what we call a traditional functional layout. I like to call it the process village. You know the setup. All the drills are over here, all the welders are way over there. And what does that mean? It means your products have to take this long, tangled, spaghetti-like journey all over the factory, which creates a whole lot of waste, or as they say in lean, muda. Now, here's the really interesting part about all that stuff piling up. That inventory, it's not just taking up space and tying up cash. It's actually a buffer. It's a security blanket that hides all the real problems. Like when a machine breaks down or there's a quality issue. And because those problems are hidden, you never get around to actually fixing the root cause. Okay, so if that chaotic process village is the problem, what's the solution? Well, let's dive into how a production cell creates a way smarter and more efficient way to work. And this is it, the production cell. It's such an elegant solution because it completely flips the old logic on its head. Instead of moving the product all over the place to find the right machine, you bring all the machines and the people together in one spot to serve the product. And here are the key pieces that make a cell work so well. First, you've got sequential steps. Everything is laid out in the exact order you need it. A lot of times, you'll see this classic U shape, which is awesome because it minimizes walking. Then you're aiming for one-piece flow. Just think, make one, move one. And the whole thing is run by a cross-trained team, so people can jump in and handle different tasks as needed. But look, the true magic here isn't just about the physical layout. It's about what that layout makes possible. It enables this powerful state we call continuous flow, where work just moves smoothly, predictably, perfectly in sync with what the customer is actually asking for. So to get that perfect synchronization, we have to start by listening to the customer's rhythm. And in Lean, we have a name for that. It's called takt time. And this is super important. It's not about how fast we can work, it's about how fast we need to work to meet customer demand. You can think of it as the heartbeat of the whole operation. Let's look at a quick example to see how this works. For this Apex fuel line cell, the customer wants 690 pieces per shift. We've got 27,600 seconds of work time available. So you just do the simple math, and it tells you that a finished part needs to roll off the line every 40 seconds. That 40-second number, that's our new pulse. It's the target for the entire cell. Okay, so that's the million-dollar question, right? It's one thing to know you need a part every 40 seconds, but how in the world do you get every single person, every single machine, to march to that exact same beat? Well, the answer is one of the most brilliant and kind of counterintuitive ideas in all of Lean. You don't try to schedule everything. You pick just one point in the process, we call it the pacemaker, and you only give that process a schedule. Everything else in the cell is designed to just flow and respond to that single beat. Okay, so theory is great, but let's see what this looks like in the real world. We're going to go back to that Apex fuel line example and see just how traumatic the change can be when you move from that old process village to a real flow cell. Okay, just take a look at this table. This is the before and after for Apex, and honestly, the numbers are just staggering. And that's the key takeaway here. We're not talking about little 5% improvements. This is a complete, fundamental transformation across every single thing you could measure. Just look at this one. The lead time, that's the time from when an order starts until it's totally finished. It went from 11 days down to 37 minutes. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Something that used to take almost 2 weeks now gets done in less time than it takes to eat lunch. That, right there, is the power of flow. And it wasn't just about getting faster. They cut the amount of floor space they needed by almost half. Think about that. That's hundreds of square feet of factory space they just got back that they can now use for something else that actually adds value. And all they did was get organized into a tight cell instead of that sprawling village. But, and this is a big but, here's the secret that a lot of people miss. You can't just design a beautiful cell, launch it, and walk away. That's just the starting line. The real challenge, and honestly, where the true masters of lean really shine, is in keeping that flow alive and improving it, day in and day out. You really gotta understand this. A cell isn't a machine you can just set and forget. It's more like a living, breathing system. If you don't give it daily attention, it's gonna slowly slide back into chaos. It needs that constant culture of continuous improvement, of Kaizen, to really thrive. And this is where leadership becomes so important. There's this simple daily routine called leader standard work. It means managers are out there on the floor every single day. They go to the Gemba, which just means the real place where the work actually happens. They're there to see with their own eyes, check the scoreboards, and most importantly, help the team clear any roadblocks that are getting in the way of the flow. And this Toyota proverb really nails it. That consistent, standard approach from leaders is what builds a stable foundation. You have to have stability before you can even think about improving. You can't improve chaos. And without that daily discipline from the top, I'm telling you, even the best designed cell will eventually fall apart. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. These ideas, flow, cells, they're not just for factories. This stuff applies everywhere, in an office, in a hospital, even in software development. Anywhere there's a process, there's a flow. So take a hard look at how you work and ask yourself, where are the hidden factories and process villages in your world?